Good afternoon, welcome to my channel. My name is Felipe. I'd like to invite you to subscribe to this channel. If you like the video, give us a like, share with your friends, start the notifications. Don't forget, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you're going to buy at internet, click in the link at the description. Amazon.com and Shopping. FAS, free alongside shipping. Named port of shipment. Seller places goods alongside the vessel on the quay or in lines at the named port of shipment. Buyers bear all costs and risk of loss or damage to the goods from the moment. Buyers clear the goods for export. It should not be used when the buyer cannot carry out the export formalities. The term can only be used for sea or inland waterway transportation. Free on board. Named port of shipment. Seller delivers goods when they have passed over the ship's rail at named port or shipment. Buyer has to bear all costs and risks of loss or damage to the goods from that point. Seller clears the goods for export. These terms can only be used for sea or inland water transport. CFR, cost in freight. Named port of destination. Seller pays cost in freight to bring the goods to the named port of destination, but the risk of loss or damage as well as any additional costs due to events occurring after the time the goods have been delivered on board the vessel is transferred from the seller to the buyer when the goods pass the ship's rail in the port of shipment. Seller clears the goods for export. This term can only be used for sea and inland waterway transport. SEF, cost insurance in freight. Named port of destination. Seller has the same CFR obligations, plus they must procure marine insurance against the buyer's risks of loss or damage to the goods during the carriage. The seller contracts for insurance and pays insurance premium. Only premium coverage is required. CAF requires the seller to clear the goods for export. This term can only be used for sea and inland waterway transport. CPT, carriage paid to, named place of destination. Seller pays the freight for the carriage of the goods to the named destination. The risk of loss or damage to the goods, as well as any conditional costs during the events occur after the time the goods have been delivered to the carrier, is transferred from the seller to the buyer when the goods have been delivered to the carrier. Carrier means any party, including forward, who performs or procures transport by rail, road, sea, air, inland waterway by multiple modes. If subsequent carriers are used for the carriage to the agreed destination, the risk passes when the goods have been delivered to the first carrier. CPT requires the seller to clear the goods for export. This term may be used for any mode of transport, including multimodal transport. CIP, carriage and insurance paid to, named place of destination. Seller has the same CPT obligation and must procure cargo insurance against the buyer's risk of loss or damage to the goods during the carriage. The seller contracts of insurance and pays the insurance premium. Only minimum coverage is required. The seller clears the goods for export. This term may be used for any mode of transport, including multimodal transport. The AF, delivered at frontier named place. Seller deliver goods cleared for export at the named place at the frontier. but before the council border of the adjoining country. The term frontier may be used for any frontier including that of the country of export. TNF is primarily intended when goods are carried by rail or road, but may be used for any mode. DES delivery ex-ship, named port of destination. Seller delivers goods on board the ship and cleared for import at the named port of destination. Seller bears all costs and risks involved in bringing the goods to the named port of destination. This term can only be used for sea or inland waterway transportation. TEQ Delivery ex quai Dutch page, named port of destination. Seller delivers goods on the quay of the named port of destination cleared of foreign port. The seller bears all risks and costs including duties, taxes, and other charges. This term should not be used if the seller is unable to obtain the import license. If the parties wish the buyers to clear the goods for import and pay the duty, the words duty and paid should be used instead of duty paid. This term can only be used for sea or inland waterway transport. DDU Deliver Dutch unpaid, named place of destination. Seller delivers goods at the named place in the country of import. Seller bears costs and risks involved in the valuing the goods, excluding duties, taxes, and other official charges payable upon import, as well as the costs and risk of carrying out customs formalities. Buyer pays additional costs and bears risks caused by the failure to clear the goods for import in time. This term may be used regardless of the mode of transportation. DDP Delivered Dutch paid, named place of destination. Seller delivers goods at the named place for the country of import. Seller bears the risk and costs including duties, tax, and other charges of delivering the goods cleared for import, while the EXW term represents the minimum obligation for the seller. DDP represents the maximum obligation. This term should not be used for the seller is unable to obtain the import license. DDP may be used regardless of mode of transportation. Incoterms, 1990s, a summary